Alright guys, I decided to make the video that will pretty much annoy a lot of people, telling you that stretching is useless and it's overrated, and a lot of time it's creating you more issues than actually helping you relax the muscle. Alright, so let's jump straight into it. See a lot of people that, first of all, they start training, before their workout they're stretching. I saw a guy the other day, he's stretching his chest before starting to bench. I'm like, what are you doing? My physio tell me to do that. I'm like this, I saw this, it's good to stretch. You're stretching, you're making the muscle longer. First of all, the muscle is not even warm yet. The muscle is cold, so you're stretching it, you're stretching something that is cold. The risk of injury is pretty high, and then you're gonna impact the performance on your bench, because now you're stretching that muscle that doesn't want to be stretched when it's cold. All right, so warm it up first. You don't warm up with stretching. You don't warm up by pulling something cold, but rather by doing maybe some push-ups. You can do some barbell chest press. You can do some dynamic stuff, but don't go for that static hold. You're just gonna stretch that tendon and put yourself at a risk. Now that you go on a bench and you put some weight, boom, your tendon or your muscle pull because you stretched it too much when it wasn't time to. All right, so first thing first, never stretch before a session, never. You know how I warm up? I warm up, let's say I'm doing squats, I warm up with bodyweight squats. I'm doing chest press, bench press, I'll warm up with a lot of what is it called, just the bar. I'll do a lot of reps with just the bar and squeezing my chest. You want to shorten that muscle. You always want to shorten before you want to do something that will make the muscle longer. So don't overstretch, especially when you're starting. The amount of people that I see them getting injured, they go on the pec deck fly machine, they just started their workout and they're going for that insane stretch. Well, guess what? Boom, that's how they get injured and they pull a muscle. That's the first thing. So let's be fair, let's all agree, never stretch before a workout. That's number one. Static stretches. The worst. The guy was doing this, I don't know who tells you. I don't know. Never stretch before a workout. Now, let's talk about stretching after a workout or stretching a tight muscle. Let's talk about a tight muscle. I see a guy that is always stretching his traps. And he's like, well, it's just so tight, I just have to stretch it even more. My physio told me stretch my traps and stretch my neck, or the quads are so tight, they're always stretching them. I'm like, okay, how long have you been doing that? I've been stretching for almost a year, every day. My traps, are they still tight? Yeah, they're so tight I can't move. Well, there's your answer. What you're doing is not working, so stop stretching it. Because if you're stretching a muscle that is always super tight, then stretching is not the solution. Probably your posture at work, probably the way you train, the way your shoulder is positioned when you're pulling or pushing, you're overcompensating with your traps. So that's something to look at, to look for. It's not stretching, there's something that you're doing that is causing that tight muscle. It's not the muscle is just tight on its own. If it's always tight, it's because the posture is bad. Maybe you're not breathing well, you're not breathing deep enough, so everything stays there. You're so stressed, you raise your shoulders. I don't want to get into that. I'm not a physio. I have a lot of knowledge on it, but that's not the subject of the content. It's just telling you that if you're stretching always a tight muscle and it's still tight after month and month of stretching, it's not gonna solve it. I had a client that she's like, my hamstring is so sore, always sore, my hamstrings, and my physio gave me stretches, I keep doing them. And I'm like, okay, it's been, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 months. Are they still tight? Yeah, they keep getting more and more tight. I'm like, well, it's because they're weak. They're tight because they're weak and there's a compensation somewhere and we have to strengthen them. As soon as we started strengthening them, as soon as she started working on her glutes, her hips, strengthening the area around it because there was a weakness somewhere, so there's a compensation with the hamstring somewhere, so boom, the hamstring is always tight. So stop stretching it and get to the root of the cause. The hamstring being too tight is just a side effect of the weakness. So find that weakness and strengthen it, all right? So stretching is not the solution for that. Moving on, stretching after your workout. Let's say you do a big session of legs and then you're like, well, you know what? I want to stretch my quads so I don't get super sore. You know what you should do? Go for a walk. Get some blood flow in the area. That will help you a lot more than stretching your muscles. I really don't like stretching after my workouts because that's where my muscles feel very tight, but there's a lot of blood going on. There's a lot of, there's that pump going on, and stretching it sometimes, I just feel like my tendon got so much work and my muscles that now pulling on that muscle, even if it's warm, maybe I'll do light stretches, but nothing too crazy. What I will do is let's say for the only thing that gets sore for me is my quads. What I will do is I would go for walks in the evening. So I would train in the morning, I would go for a little walk in the evening, slight walk, get some blood in the area, and blood flow will help you take away the lactic acid, bring some oxygen, bring some nutrients, and get that muscle moving, get that circulation of blood, so you'll recover faster. All right, we have to understand why we're doing things. There's a lot of things that are just done because that's just the way it is, but that's not efficient. All right, I remember there was a soccer team that used to always stretch before their session, always stretch before a game, and they used to always get injured. They were doing those crazy holds of the quads and stretching that quad for 40 seconds. What are you getting out of this? I see people wasting so long at the gym, stretching for 20 minutes. My God, you could have done push-ups and squats and pull-ups with that time, and you'll get a lot better results. All right, stretching won't get you much. Don't spend too long on it. When you're training, you're actually stretching and squeezing that muscle as you're training, as you're doing your reps. All right, the muscle is stretching. I know I said in another video, don't go for a crazy range of motion, but you're still getting a good stretch and squeeze. So you don't need to overly stretch after your workout. You'll just increase the risk of injury. You waste your time, and it's not going to do you much, and it's not going to prevent soreness. People think it's going to prevent soreness. No, go for a walk, get blood flow in the area. All right, maybe for your chest, squeeze it for 10 seconds. Maybe like the rest of the day, once you're done your workout, I do that sometimes. I'll squeeze my chest, get blood in the area, and the blood flow will help me recover faster and not get sore. So you got to understand that. Don't overstretch. Don't waste your time on stretching. If you stretch before training, stop this right away. And never stretch before like a PR or a big thing. You want your muscle to shorten, all right? And a lot of times people, okay, let's talk about the mobility. See, people say, well, I'm not flexible. I have to stretch. Well, you know what? When you're stretching for too long, you're stretching, and you're holding it, and your body tells you stop going further. It's an alarm signal. Your body, your nervous system is telling you there's a danger. You might pull your tendon. But the more you do it, you're telling your body, let's mute that alarm. And then your body's like, all right, fine. Go for a little bit more, but it doesn't mean that the risk of injury is not yet, is not there. It's just your nervous system is shutting down that alarm because you're kind of telling your body that you want to go there, but it's not necessarily mean it's good. If you have a lack of mobility, it's because there's a weakness somewhere. It's not because you're not mobile and flexible. This is another myth, all right? So stretching won't help you. What will help you is strengthening the lack of strength that you're having. If you can't go all the way up, well, maybe, I don't know, maybe your shoulder, your rotator cuff, your rhomboids, your lats, there's something that is overcompensating, and then your nervous system is telling you stop there. And that's why you can't go up. Okay, it's not because you're not mobile and that you need hours of stretching, because trust me, you'll do hours of stretching, you won't solve the issue. You might gain a bit of flexibility temporarily, but you won't solve the issue. As soon as you stop, boom, it gets back tight. All right, so that's it for this video, guys. A lot of people will be like, well, this is complete BS. He's telling us not to stretch. Look, I've never stretched and I'm doing pretty good. Well, 5 years from now, 5 years ago, if I would have seen this video, I would have been like, well, this guy is talking nonsense. But I've been training for over 13, 14 years. You know, your thoughts change and you start to realize some things. Maybe years from now, I'll look back at this video and I'll be like, well, I don't know. That's just really what I believe now, and it has been working well for me. All right, I'm all about results, and I don't think things should take so long to see results when it comes to, let's say, a muscle being tight. There's always, it's not the issue. It's a side effect of something. A lot of times the problems we have are side effects of something, and they're not the issues themselves. All right, it could go for everything. You have a shoulder pain. It could be a lot of things. It could be you're not breathing correctly, your neck posture, your core. It could be that your shoulder is not in a good place. But then we will go the modern way of doing stuff is we will go look at the shoulder. All right, let's do those exercises. The rotator cuff. Now, fix that core. Maybe you're not breathing. Maybe you're not engaging your core. Maybe your neck is not at the right place. You're pinching a nerve, and then the nerve is being pinched. So now not enough blood flow and not enough nerve signals are passing through those muscles. So many things. Don't look at the problem as the problem. Look at it as a side effect of something else. That's it for this video, guys. Hopefully you like it. You know, I'm a bit of a controversial person, and it's not because I want to. It's because I realized what worked. I tried doing the standard stuff and didn't get me where I want to get. Think outside the box, because that's where all the answers, the truth is found. That's it. See you guys soon. Ciao.